What if the people you call friends are the ones guiding you into a trap and you don't realize it until it's too late? Now listen carefully. In this case, the police said they had the right group within days. But years later, a court said the evidence chain did not hold. So the real question is, how can a case look solved early and still end with nobody legally held responsible? If you like calm, audio-only case stories that focus on facts and awareness, subscribe now. And turn on notifications so you don't miss the next story. The year is 2007. The place is India, in Maharashtra, in a large metro region. This story is about Victim, a teenager from a financially comfortable family. Victim's father was a businessman. Victim had a social life, hobbies, and a routine that looked normal for that age. And like many teenagers of that time, Victim also spent time on an early social networking platform and at public hangout spots like gaming zones. Public reports say Victim met a group of young men months before the incident. They bonded over shared interests. They stayed in contact. And to Victim, they looked like friends. But some family members felt uneasy. They warned Victim to be careful. Victim did not take it seriously. Now listen carefully. This case begins like a normal evening. It's a weekend night in August. Victim tells the family something simple, going out to meet friends, going to a public place, and returning later. Victim leaves home in the family car. From here, public reports describe a shift, not loud, not dramatic, just a quiet change in control. Victim meets the group. They spend time together. Then the group suggests going somewhere else. Victim agrees. Later that night, Victim calls home and says something that lowers alarm. "I'm staying at a friend's place." It sounds ordinary, but it is not. The next morning, father gets a phone call. The caller asks a strange question, as if testing the situation. Then another call follows with a demand for money for Victim's return. Think about this. The family is suddenly pushed into panic, confusion, and pressure. Father is trying to understand if it's real. Public reports say father first believed it might be a prank, but when Victim does not return, it becomes clear something is very wrong. Father goes to the police and reports Victim missing. The case becomes urgent. Then comes a detail that matters a lot. Public reports say news of the incident reached television channels, and according to police statements reported in the media, the people holding Victim panicked after they saw it being discussed publicly. That moment, when the case becomes public, becomes a pressure point in the timeline. After that, Victim is later found dead in an outdoor area on the outskirts of the metro region. The family car is also later found in a different location. No graphic details here, just the reality. A teenager left home expecting a normal night and never returned alive. Now the investigation begins moving fast. Public reports say the police focused on people Victim had recently been spending time with. They looked at phone records, witness statements, and a digital trail linked to online contact. They also looked into Victim's connections on a social networking site. Messages, profiles, and contacts were examined. One online profile was even discussed in reporting as a possible decoy that helped build trust. There were also witness statements described in public reporting, including a claim that someone saw Victim in a weakened or drowsy condition around the group. Another witness claim involved overhearing planning in a public place. And according to public reporting, the police made arrests within days. Multiple people were taken into custody. Police statements reported in the media suggested that some accused persons first made admissions and led police to key places connected to the case. The authorities also collected physical items connected to the incident, described broadly in public reporting as clothing, the car, and other materials. A post-incident medical report was referenced in media as supporting the cause of death, but we will not go into detail. On paper, it looked like the investigation was closing in quickly. But a fast, early story is not the same as a strong, court-proof case. This is the key point. The courtroom does not run on "it seems obvious." It runs on what can be proven, step by step, without gaps. Here is the turning point. Years later, when the trial process unfolded, the case began to weaken in public view because of contradictions and missing links. One major issue reported, call records tied to the money demand calls were not produced properly in court, undermining a central part of the prosecution's narrative. Another issue, contradictions in timelines. Public reports mention a serious dispute about the date the body was recovered, with police records saying one date and a witness account suggesting another. There were also contradictions reported about parts of the narrative, where certain actions happened and how the sequence was described. And there was a structural problem. Many witnesses were examined under one judge, then the judge was transferred, and the final decision came from another judge who had personally heard only a small number of witnesses. Now listen carefully. None of this proves who did what, but it shows why the prosecution's chain of events, as presented, failed to stand as one clean, reliable thread. When the chain breaks, even once, the whole case can collapse in court. The outcome, based on your input, is this. Multiple accused persons were arrested soon after the incident. A trial took place, but in 2012, the court acquitted the adult accused persons due to a lack of a proven chain of evidence. Public reports describe the court's view as the evidence did not create enough confidence to convict. The prosecution story did not hold together as one consistent, verified sequence. After the acquittal, the accused persons were released after years in custody. The family was devastated. Father publicly expressed shock and said justice had been denied. Appeals were later admitted in a higher court based on your input, but public reports do not clearly mention this, a final publicly reported conclusion of those appeals. So, in practical terms, the case remains one where a teenager lost their life, arrests happened quickly, but the legal process ended without a final conviction publicly established in the materials you provided. Think about this. The most frightening part of this story is not only what happened, it's how normal it looked at the start. A teenager meets friends, a public hangout, a casual plan, a simple phone call home to reduce suspicion, and then the family is thrown into fear. If there is one safety lesson here, it is this. Be extremely careful with new friendships that form fast. Be careful when someone pushes you to meet late, change locations, or keep things secret from family. And parents, if your child's routine suddenly changes, don't ignore it. And one more hard truth. A case can feel emotionally clear, but still fail in court if the evidence trail is incomplete, inconsistent, or not presented properly. If you want, comment one thing you think went wrong in the investigation or trial process based only on what you heard in this narration. This story is shared for awareness and educational purposes based on public reports.